According to statistics, 73% of over 16-year-olds in South Africa are not interested in reading. CEO of the South African Book Development Council shares the importance of reading, storytelling and intervention programs families should adapt to by encouraging reading at home.
Historically, reading and books weren't promoted to a majority of our people. And so there's that history that we have based on the apartheid system. But there's always also so many things that we can do in terms of how we spend our leisure time. And one of the main reasons given to us through a national survey that we did why people aren't reading is time. It's not the cost of a book, it's the time. And the other one was that there wasn't a library close by. So I think that it's about the perception of value and how people value books. So we need people to value books and stories more. So we're asking for reading to be part of what you do with your children as a leisure activity, and I refer back to it being a leisure activity. And one of the things that we're promoting this year for National Book Week and the South African Book Fair is #OurStories. It's about getting back into the wonder of stories, into the oral tradition that is so us as Africans and also as black parents, that we tell stories. It's part of what we do, and that we can use our time to be bonding with our children, to be assisting them with homework and so on, through getting back into the wonder of stories and telling stories.
One of South Africa's celebrated author, Dr. Sindiwe Magona, says it was exposure that led to her love for writing, and also shares how we can change the reading culture in the country and making reading fun and enthusiastic.
We can cultivate reading, a culture of reading, so that everybody or most people who will read, not everybody is going to be, but more and more people should be hooked into reading, by making books that are enjoyable, but then by giving them to people who actually open them and read them, and then by having structures in place where children and their parents get to see that they are being measured. Measurement is important at the beginning of any huge movement. We need a movement of books and reading. Books matter. Reading is life. We are busy saying as a nation we want to do nation building. We could start right there. It's for me so sad that when we talk about nation building and other good things that should be happening in this country, we don't really act on that. You know, it would be so easy, for instance, for the relevant departments. Children are the business of the Department of Education, the Department of Health, Welfare Services, at least those three. When there's trouble, of course, the legal system also comes in, but those three is basic. How come they cannot come together and say, for our children, let's get a book where all children this age read the same book in this country, so that by the time they get into higher education, university or any tertiary institution, they have some things, some basic things they can share, the stories, South African stories. You know, I grew up at a time when the children my age who were Afrikaans speaking have books they relate to as children. I didn't have entree into those books, just as they didn't have entree into the books that were written in isiXhosa, just as I didn't have entree into books and stories, zesiSotho, zesiSwati. I'm not saying those languages should disappear. The diversity is what is rich in South Africa. But the sharing is what will mold us into a nation. The people in books haven't done much. And businesses are called businesses because they want to make profit. They are not charity. They are not there for charity. This book, if you look at the artwork alone, never mind the scientist's work that's here, this is a book that should be expensive. It is not expensive. Because somebody with a lot of money and a huge heart made it his business to fund the production of this book. Because together with the University of Stellenbosch that wanted this book, this guy, Afrikaner, his name is in the book, so you know who I'm talking about. He wanted the book for the children of South Africa to be accessible to as many. So he put in his money so that the book could be less than 100 rand. It's 99 rand. No, it's 99 rand. Usually books like this are 100 and this, 200 and this. This book is for what is in the book. The part about books are expensive for poor people. If you see what poor people wear. So for me, that doesn't wash. When people will buy what they believe is important. The reason we don't buy books, black people don't buy books, is because the truth of the importance of books in the growing and development of the human being has not really sunk in. And it should be of national importance. That message is given to every parent. It should be part of your SASA, it should be part of that.
Elaborating on how we can make reading enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And
when my first book came, first book?
When your first book came out.
No. When my first novel came out, it was my 5th book. It came out at the same time with Walter Mosley's book. And we were hitting the circuit, and then Clinton got to be president just about the same year. And Clinton reads. Presidents read, the people will read. And during a Q&A with journalists, somebody asked him, one of the journalists asked him, "What are you currently reading?" And he said, "I've just discovered an exciting new writer. And I'm reading I can't remember the book, Walter Mosley." Guess what? The next day, you couldn't buy a Walter Mosley book in the shops. Cleaned out. If the president names your book, everyone wants to know about the book. How many politicians have you had singing praises of a book? People listen to politicians. People listen to film stars and TV stars. If those people who are leaders and are in the eye of the nation would be crusaders for reading, crusaders for books. Just read one book and talk about it enthusiastically. See how many kids are going to think reading is good. And the parents. The bling we wear is because those people who are the vanguard of society wear bling. All the things ordinary people do, they're modeling themselves after what they see as success. It may not be right, but that's the perception. Let's put that same perception on books. It can be done, it's doable, but is the political will there? Read. I doubt, I'm not saying it's impossible. I doubt anybody who doesn't read could become a writer. Never mind a good writer. Because like everything else, reading is competition. Don't make any mistake about that. What is going to make a publisher who's receiving 100 manuscripts look at yours and think, yeah, we have a winner here? Those people want to make money. They want books that will sell, which means you have to know what is selling. You have to know what's out already and make yours better than that.
Throughout the country, 3 to 9 September, and even in Gauteng, to visit the South African Book Fair, where there will be all these talks and a storytelling festival, and just getting everyone back into the wonder of books and stories.
Reading is a critical skill and plays a vital role in our lives by improving our vocabulary, the way we think, and takes us to places. Let's promote reading by encouraging children to develop their reading skills from a younger age. Baba Loquma for Our City News.